team tonight than you saw in the regular season from Vancouver.
48 hours ago, Tim Hunter boldly predicted what many die-hard Vancouver fans doubted. Pat Quinn's tongue was in his cheek when he wondered why his club bothered to show up. But 3 second-period goals proved the Canucks came to play while the Flames didn't. 2 bad penalties and 3 bad plays all led to Vancouver goals. Turnovers cost Calgary, and Vancouver's Trevor Linden, the club's all-time playoff scoring leader, was a force at both ends of the rink. And while Calgary wore the collar in a 5-0 shutout, the Flames' Gary Roberts will wear a protective collar. Whiplash, the result of the constant pounding he took. Roberts went to the net, and he paid the price. Dana Murzin a pain to his neck all night long. A shattered thumb, the least of Roberts' worries now. A frustrating night for Roberts and his coach Dave King, who saw Vancouver score twice in the power play, while his club was 0 for 8. And searching for some advantage late in the game, the hit parade began, some illegal. Sandy McCarthy, a blindside punch to Trevor Linden, reminding him about earlier transgressions. But in the end, the message delivered to Calgary, no discipline, no chance. But Doug Riseborough has seen this Game 1 upstart Canucks scenario before, thanks to Paul Reinhart in 1989.
Move it in now. Here's Bradley's drive. That's picked up. Reinhart gets up. He's closing in. Oh, he scores!
Poster of Joel Otto for the kids. Everything you want to know about tonight's game and more, it's all in the program. Get them here.
Welcome to Calgary in Game 2 of this Western Conference quarterfinal, where Flames fans are hoping that Calgary will have more fire in the Flames tonight.
Making his 27th consecutive playoff start for the Vancouver Canucks, 31 saves in a 5-0 shutout in Game 1. There was some question at the other end as to whether Trevor Kidd might get the call, but Dave King had this comment about Mike Vernon. When you look at what he's done for this team, Mike Vernon has to be the choice tonight for Game 2. Kerry Fraser is the referee. Pat DiPuzzo and Leon Stickle will work the lines. And again, Dave Jackson is the alternate referee.
The first thing you have to look at is who the official is. You want to get a sense of what the referee is going to be calling and how he's called games in the past for you. Kerry Fraser is a real straight shooter, and as long as you don't embarrass him, you're going to get a great effort and a consistent game.
Dave King has removed Michael Nylander and Chris Dahlquist from the lineup, and he's inserted Wes Walz and Kevin Dahl.
You know, one of the things King said was that you have to forget about the bad when it happens, and Pat Quinn said you got to forget about the bad and forget about the good and just concentrate on the moment.
Pat Quinn has moved Sean Antosky into the lineup in place of the injured Greg Adams. Adams, you may recall, stopped a shot in front of the net and has a deep bruise in his abdomen as a result. Kissio for Calgary. He'll shoot it in, and the Flames will try to get to the puck, but McLean clears before either Walz or McCarthy could get there. Hedican works slowly up the left side. He has Memesso with him. He pushes the puck into the corner, but Vernon clears it away from Memesso. Now MacInnis can't clear. Intercepted by Jelena from Memesso, and he fires it wide. Jelena working from the corner for Memesso. Memesso knocked down by MacInnis. MacInnis having some problems getting out. Now with some help from Walz, he takes the puck to center ice. Kissio will dump it in, and the Flames make a change.
Well, thanks to no penalty in the first minute, already more tempo, more intensity in this hockey game. Vancouver already with a great chance. Important for the Flames to recognize that they got a break and they missed 2-on-1, but Memesso just fired.
Yes, just 12 seconds into Game 1, there was a penalty call.
2-on-1. Once again, Vancouver very patient. They get a quick turnover in the Flame zone, an errant pass that's picked off. Super defensive play. Defensive play doesn't always have to be boring. A nice job by Vancouver to generate a great scoring opportunity.
Murzin flips it to the corner. Ojek tied up by Patrick. Lumme pinches in from the point. Ojek centers it. Bure couldn't get into position, and Murzin has to go back into his own zone. He lost it to Reichel, and they both slide into the net, taking McLean down. dangerous pass by Murzin, trying to go rink wide deep in his own zone, and Reichel almost picked it off.
Well, the forechecking that Calgary has wanted to get appears a little bit earlier here. Dana Murzin tries to make a wide pass, and Reichel, who's pretty quick and crafty, got a stick on it just in time. McLean had a big choice to make as to whether he wanted to stop the Flames from going in his net or protect Dana Murzin. He made the wise choice and protected the guy that protected him 24 hours ago.
Murzin is from Calgary, and his father has been a most loyal supporter at games played here at the Saddle Dome.
Kind of a funny story with Dana Murzin. When he was traded from Hartford to the Calgary Flames, he was traded for Lane McDonald. Everybody thought it was Lanny McDonald. There was a huge uproar here in the city. But Dana came in and played very, very well, carried on what he had started. Calgary Wranglers here, the Hartford Whalers, and now doing a first-class job with the Vancouver Canucks.
Linden works back into his own zone, loses it. Cruz from the corner, trying to center. Tied up, back of the net. And the Flames in this opening period more aggressive with their forechecking than they were in game one.
Well, in all of last game, Don, I don't recall very many times where Calgary hemmed Vancouver in at all.
Again, Vancouver can't clear. Titov couldn't get a good shot away as he was checked by Lumme. Now Murzin will try and move it out. He chops it up along the boards, and then Murzin spins Cruz around with a pretty good hit.
I think the intention Cruz had was to hit Murzin, but Dana Murzin is very, very strong, and if you hit him while he's expecting it, you're going to have the same result that Paul Cruz just found out about inside the blue line.
Bure couldn't go rink wide with the pass. The puck picked up by Babbage. Babbage backhands it in. MacInnis starts out of his own zone. Rink wide pass for Stern. Babbage was able to block it, and then the puck picked up by Didick. Didick having some problems getting out of his own zone, some pushing and shoving along the boards involving Ojek and Nieuwendyk. Roberts also took a bit of a beating and lost his helmet in the process. Ojek fires the puck rink wide, takes a hit from Nieuwendyk. Here's Bure with a backhand shot. That's gloved by Mike Vernon, and finally the whistle goes as Roberts and Ojek have each other wrapped up in the corner. Gary Roberts wearing a protective collar as the result of a couple of hits in the back, and burner that he suffered in the neck area.
Well, when you start to get the big guys playing and the smaller guys realize that they've got to contribute, the little guys start to hit. Now Cruz tried to hit Murzin, he got wiped out. Watch Bure come out of nowhere here, and he tries to strafe Ronnie Stern after Stern tried to put the body on 44 Babbage. That's the kind of thing that lifts your bench when the little guys who don't typically take the body on a regular basis, and certainly with that kind of intensity do it, it translates right along the bench both ways. Gary Roberts is going to be sore every time he steps on the ice, whether there's contact or not, Don.
If this were a regular season game, I really doubt that Gary Roberts would play because he doesn't have full mobility in his right arm.
Well, we'll watch him a little bit, and you'll notice that he's a guy, the way he normally skates isn't real fluid, with all due respect to Gary Roberts. More body checks here as Didick gets the elbow up on Roberts and rakes him a little bit. Roberts skates with a bit of a jerky motion. He gets there, but you'll notice how stiff he is tonight. He's moving from the torso as opposed to the neck and shoulders.
Carson gets the draw back to the point to Hedican. He dumps it behind the net. Picked up there by Musil. With Walls. Walls throws it rink wide. Roberts looks for Nieuwendyk. Comes back to Walls, and he overskates. Jeff Brown starts away for Vancouver. Long shot, gloved by Mike Vernon. And Vernon throws it out to center ice. Here's a pass fed ahead to Roberts. Roberts going in, saved by McLean. And again, Roberts goes crashing into the net. And there's going to be a penalty call against Brett Hedican of Vancouver. having a goaltender who can handle the puck is a definite asset.
Well, Mike Vernon has improved that part of his game, and it gives Gary Roberts this chance. Hedican hauls him down. If you remember where Roberts originally got hurt 48 hours ago, it was on a great play by Greg Adams that didn't draw a penalty. There was some discussion here in Calgary that it should have drawn a penalty. I thought it was a heck of a defensive play. Adams caught up to him and simply out-muscled Roberts. Mike Vernon hasn't had much action so far this evening. Only one shot on net. It kind of started out like that two nights ago as well.
Well, Trent Yanni has also gone to the penalty box after the initial call was made on Brett Hedican. Yanni got involved in a skirmish in the corner and drew a cross-checking minor, a hooking penalty against Brett Hedican. And twice now the Vancouver net has been dislodged, and they appear to be having some problems with those marsh pegs in repositioning the Vancouver net.
Well, they should talk to Gary Roberts. He keeps running into those. I think if Roberts realized that they came out kind of tough, he might stop going to the net so hard.
As they say, deja vu all over again for Gary Roberts, because in game one, as you referred to the play by Greg Adams, able to haul Gary Roberts down in a similar breakaway from the blue line.
Well, not only deja vu, just like he'd seen the same thing before.
We'll leave that one alone, Pep. Al MacInnis in this 4-on-4 situation drives it in. Fleury has it in the corner. Fleury is checked by Linden, and Ronning races after the loose puck. He has Linden with him. They cross at the blue line. Ronning looks for someone to give it to. His long shot goes wide of the net. Fleury flips it rink wide for Reichel. Reichel shoots, kicked out by McLean. Ronning goes back of his own net. Reichel heads to the Calgary bench on a change. Lumme feeds it back to Ronning. Ronning being shadowed there by Nieuwendyk. Gives it off to Murzin. Murzin taken in against the boards by MacInnis.
That gives you some idea of the strength of Al MacInnis. Dana Murzin's 220 pounds if he's an ounce. And not many guys can handle him the way MacInnis just did.
Nieuwendyk's shot is blocked by Babbage. Babbage had a strong game Monday night. He also scored a goal in addition to playing well defensively. Babbage jumps up into the play, but Craven couldn't get him to pass. Now Zalapski comes in with Patrick. A drop pass for Titov. McLean stands his ground. Titov at the side of the net almost had it given back to him by Babbage. Roberts dodges a check back to the net but can't go anywhere with the puck. And Bure starts away with Craven. Bure trying to get around Zalapski, taken out of the play. Patrick and Craven go to the loose puck in the corner. Titov also comes back. He goes rink wide to Roberts. Roberts working against Murzin, leaves it there for Zalapski, and Zalapski's shot is blocked by Lumme. And both teams are now back at full strength. Going into the corner after the puck is Lumme. Fleury is after him. Fleury bumps Lumme, but it's Fleury who goes down. Hedican takes the rink-wide pass. McIntyre was going for the net, but he was offside. With a Stanley Cup playoff update, here's Ken Daniels.
Don, when we last left you at Joe Louis Arena, it was 1-0 for the Red Wings, but here Bob Probert looks past and then shoots in the slot and beats Urbe on the stick side. 2-0 for the Wings. And a few minutes after that, Paul Coffey with his speed on the rush leaves one in the slot, and driving for the net is Dino Cicerelli, who gets the goal. That puts Detroit up on San Jose 3-0. Since then, Nicholas Lidstrom has made it 4-0 Red Wings late third period.
Well, on this 4-on-4, you get a defenseman coming down on a forward. Craven backs up and does the job as Babbage comes back to solve things. It's a bit of a mishandle in the crease. Unfortunately, McLean was up and Craven got back to his feet. 4-on-4, you have to be very, very aware of all the positions on the ice. Murray Craven ended up playing defense on that rush, and Zalapski was a forward attacking Craven.
13:57 remaining in the opening period. It's still scoreless. McIntyre and Kissio were doing some bumping in the neutral zone. They had each other tied up. Barry Fraser was watching them but didn't call a penalty.
With the focus on taking the body here, it's really important that after you pass the puck, you remember that somebody might hit you.
McCarthy with a weak backhand shot that steered to the corner by McLean.
Lots of injuries result after you've made a heck of a play. and you think that you're all done and you're ready to go back to center ice for the face-off after the goal, and the next thing you know, you wake up in a hospital.
Babbage chases the puck back in his own zone, and there's a penalty call as McIntyre was knocked down.
Well, this is the second time there's been a delayed penalty on a Canuck, and Calgary has ended up making it even by taking one. Vernon has one, as does McIntyre. John McIntyre originally took 2 minutes for hooking, and Vernon maybe wasn't aware that a penalty was called, but he high-sticked McIntyre shortly thereafter, and what was going to be the second Flames power play ends up being the second 4-on-4 of this hockey game. Now, you've got Ronning and Linden out there to start. You got to watch for a guy like Bure to come out if you're a Calgary Flame, and if you're a Vancouver Canuck, you want to be aware of players like Fleury who can really turn the Jets on.
Linden's backhand and a toe save by Vernon. MacInnis comes back with Joel Otto. Long shot kicked out by McLean. Babbage tried to chop it along the boards, but Otto gained control, but he couldn't keep it in with his attempted feed to the point to Al MacInnis.
Al MacInnis with a big shot from the blue line we just witnessed. In the last game, there were 12 Calgary players with 1 or less shots. 18 of the 31 shots came from the defenseman.
Nieuwendyk with a shot, he scores!
Calgary attacking with some speed, or more speed than what we saw 48 hours ago. The old crisscross throws the defenseman off a bit, and you see as Nieuwendyk shoots, he pulls the puck in towards his body. That changes the angle completely, and it means that McLean has to readjust. In that period of readjustment, although it's a brief fraction of a second, Nieuwendyk spots the 5-hole and gives Calgary their first goal and first lead of this young series.
Joe Nieuwendyk, 36 goals in the regular season. He missed 7 weeks after suffering a knee injury against Tampa on the 24th of February. Reichel and MacInnis draw the assists on Nieuwendyk's first goal in the Calgary Flames. First goal of the postseason at 7:30 of this opening period.
I mentioned 12 Calgary players with 1 shot or less. Nieuwendyk was a guy that did not get a shot in the first game of this series.
Hedeken throws it up on the right side to his defensive partner, Brown. He had a goal and an assist in game 1. He was the scoring leader for the Canucks. Patrick and Craven bump in the corner. Nieuwendyk can't get it out. Here's Brown getting set. He shoots. Scores! Vernon got a piece of it, but not enough. Goal number 2 for Brown.
Well, what a huge goal for the Vancouver Canucks. So important to get that momentum back, or at the very least equalize it. I got to tell you, I never appreciated how hard Brown can shoot the puck. This shot does not go in if it's a regular slap shot. Now Vernon gets a piece of it, but it simply muscles its way through 99 times out of 100. When a goaltender of Vernon or McLean's stature can see a shot like that, they stop it. This was the one time that he didn't. Brown's second goal ties this hockey game at once.
Well, Jeff Brown is the offensive defenseman that the Vancouver Canucks have been lacking for several years, and he could prove invaluable in the postseason if he continues to blast them from the point like he just did.
Well, in the dressing room, there's a common phrase that goes like this: the dancers dance and the singers sing. And the Vancouver defense that play physical have done that, and the Vancouver defense that move the puck and score goals, like Jeff Brown, have done just that as well.
Hedeken and Craven drawing the assists on Jeff Brown's second goal of the playoffs. The 2 goals, 4-on-4, coming 38 seconds apart. Musil's long shot right on. Big rebound is picked up by Courtnall. There's a penalty coming against Calgary. Courtnall in across the line. Tried to shoot it across to Lumme, who came racing in, and it was redirected wide. And as the Flames touch it, the penalty call is made against Calgary by referee Gary Fraser. With another Stanley Cup update, here's Ken Daniels.
And let's take you to Reunion Arena for second period action with the Blues leading 1-0 on the Brendan Shanahan goal. Mike Modano takes a wrist shot from the slot. That beats Joseph. That tied up the game at 1. Russ Courtnall gave Dallas a 2-1 lead, but here Peter Nedved drops one to
Brett Hall, who puts one high over Wakaluk. That ties up the game at 2 in the second period. And they're heading to late in the third period at Maple Leaf Gardens. 3 minutes to go. Chicago and Toronto still are scoreless.
Goaltending for Ed Belfour and Felix Potvin tonight.
Gary Roberts and Titov bumping Kirk McLean. Roberts gets a pair for interference for his efforts.
So it will be 4 against 3 for 13 seconds.
The key on this, to keep the impressive power play numbers that Vancouver has going, is to win the faceoff. When you're 4 on 3, if you get control, it takes you about a half a dozen seconds to generate a good scoring opportunity. Across, back and forth, down deep in a shot.
Brown has it at the point. He doesn't shoot. Gives to Bure. Bure getting set. Gives it over to Brown. Back to Bure. A one-timer right on. And the rebound picked up by Trent Yanni. He fires it for Sandy McCarthy, who had been serving the Vernon penalty, but it went off his stick, and it's picked up by the Canucks. Bure. Now it's stolen by Joel Otto. Otto for Sullivan. He scores!
Well, Mike Sullivan and his wife just had a baby boy yesterday. Matthew's his name, and I'm sure this one will be remembered someday by Matthew. Watch Sullivan come on the right side of your screen. Unbelievable effort as he really chugs up the ice. Joel Otto gobbles up the open ice, makes a nice backhand pass to the area where Sullivan is coming to, and a perfect one-timer by a left shot on the right side. Gives Calgary the second lead of the hockey game.
Dave King was saying one of the reasons they grabbed Sullivan from San Jose on waivers back in January was his skating ability. And did he ever fly in getting up into the play to convert the centering pass from Otto? 10:36 remaining in the period. Vancouver on the power play. 1:07 remaining in the Gary Roberts penalty. Brown drives it in. Kevin Gall was able to get to the puck ahead of Jelena, and he clears. Brown is being watched by Sullivan. He feeds Bure, back to Brown. Ahead to Ronning. Ronning is forced back by some aggressive forechecking by Sullivan. Now Otto stepped in to forecheck, but the pass goes to Linden. Linden to Bure, but it's offside. 34 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gary Roberts.
Look at the way he continues to jump up the ice. It's so easy. You're killing a penalty. There's another guy there. You say, oh, heck, we're going to just kill this thing off. Well, he wasn't satisfied with that. His effort was rewarded with a great goal.
Courtnall goes to the corner. He leaves it there for Ronning. Back to the point for Babbitt. Back to Ronning. He chips it to Courtnall. He tried to center, but now MacInnis broke it up.
Well, you can see a much more aggressive Flames attack, and I think in part that's because Vancouver perhaps is not quite as comfortable as they were in Game 1. Now they've had a little bit of success, and they know Calgary's going to come out with more jump. They want to try to take some of that away.
Al MacInnis, I think, is going to get a penalty for grabbing Trevor Linden around the net and around the neck and spinning him around. And that comes with 1 second remaining in the Gary Roberts penalty.
Well, Linden has done a great job in driving to the outside. This is what Calgary has started to do a bit more of tonight. Look at that great speed as he continues to skate. MacInnis puts the grip on him just slightly, but takes him to the ice, and Fraser calls the right penalty.
Trevor Linden in Game 1 certainly got under the skin of the Calgary Flames. He played a very physical game, and Pat Quinn said for his captain to be effective, that's the way he has to continue playing in this series.
Well, there's all kinds of talk about speeches that are made in the dressing room, about things you say to players here and there. The best way to do it is to do it on the ice, and Don, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what Linden did in Game 1, and he's continuing to do it tonight. Hasn't scored a whole bunch of goals of late, but got a big one in the opening game, and that erases your memory from the last 10 games in the regular season.
Well, Linden's a native of Medicine Hat. He was telling me this morning, for the first time Monday night since he came into the National Hockey League, he has not had to purchase any tickets for family or friends. Brown lets the shot go, saved by Vernon. Roberts is out of the penalty box. boards. Running back to Linden. Brown's at the point. He gets it over to Bure. He faked the one-timer. Back to Brown, to Bure. Brown lets it go up high and wide. Bure is able to keep it in. Behind the net, Linden has it. Linden to Brown. Brown had some problems handling it. Had to go back to the net. Courtnall circles in the corner. Another penalty coming up against Calgary. Still 1:11 remaining in the penalty to MacInnis, and referee Kerry Fraser has called another penalty against the Calgary Flames.
Well, at the start of the second period, the Calgary Flames had 1 minute and 47 seconds of a 5-on-3 in game one. They didn't take advantage of it. Vancouver was up by 1, and lots of people point to that particular 107 seconds as being key to that. Now, Dave King is really upset with Kerry Fraser. You be the judge as Yanni takes Ronning to the boards. Gets his glove up in the face. Now, here's a 5-on-3 that Calgary had on Monday. Vancouver very aggressive, forced Calgary to the outside. You got to give something away on a 5-on-3. Calgary did not jump in to take advantage. Craven with a nice play here. And Vancouver killed the remaining 100 or so seconds of this after a save by McLean. The puck comes out and it's down the ice. Vancouver doesn't want the same thing to be duplicated, just opposite colors.
A roughing call against Trent Yanni, so for 1:11, the Vancouver Canucks will enjoy a 2-man advantage and a wonderful opportunity to get back on even terms.
Otto's been dominant in the face-off circle. A huge draw here for both teams.
Back to the point to Brown. He's being watched by Otto. Gets it over to Bure. Linden at the side of the net. Pass never got through to him as Ronning tried to center. And it's stolen and dumped out by James Patrick. Brown fell in the neutral zone and he gloved it ahead to Courtnall, and that was a wise move by Brown, because had he not been able to glove that puck, Joel Otto might have had a breakaway.
Good thinking by Brown, and great thinking a little bit earlier, Don, by James Patrick. You know, he got the puck in the corner, and he could have tried to shoot it out to the point, but he knew that his backhand wouldn't go far enough, so he just laid it off in the corner, knowing that he could at least regroup. A look at Vancouver throwing the puck around. A nice job by Zalapski. Right here, just lays it off to the corner. He knows that if he goes to the boards and tries to eat it, he's going to be out of position. All of a sudden, he gets the puck back. A clever little move that goes unnoticed.
Still 49 seconds remaining in the 2-man advantage. Here comes Brown for Vancouver. He fires it to the corner, races in after it himself. Carson gets the puck over to Bure. He shoots. And that, I believe, deflected off the shoulder pad of Mike Vernon and over the glass out of play.
Now 5-on-3. You go back to your goalie and you say, Bernie, they're going to be shooting. Good luck. Bure tried to go to the roof here, hoping for a bit of a screen. Can really shoot the puck for a small guy. Vernon goes down, covering as much net as he can. Pat Quinn keeps a very calm exterior, but when the exterior of this guy starts to get a little bit upset, you want to make sure you're out of the reach of his 36 to 37-inch arms.
In the game between Toronto and Chicago, it's still scoreless with less than a minute to go in the third period. Real goaltenders battle. Here, Bure gets set. There's the shot right on. Loose puck in front of the net, and Musil manages to kick it to the corner. Another penalty call being made, this one against Vancouver. Again from Lumme, and Otto is knocked down. Lumme lost his stick and has to kick the puck to the corner for Courtnall.
You know, there's been a couple of calls tonight that are different than in game one, and all of a sudden now when little things like that happen, the crowd starts to react because they want that type of officiating to continue on if it's in the favor of the home team.
Courtnall being forced in the corner, gets it over to Lumme. Lumme slips it up on the right side for Linden. Linden trying to go for the net. He's tied up by Zalapski, and Fleury in the corner tries to chop it out of the zone. Titov comes in to help out. To Zalapski, a long shot that ricochets off the glass. James Patrick jumps up into the play. Calgary defensemen have been much more aggressive in moving up into the play in tonight's game.
Boy, very, very active. And as Linden goes to the bench for a change with a busted stick, has he been active? It's really skating.
Titov with a wraparound attempt. It missed the far corner. And now the Calgary Flames will have a power play for 47 seconds. They lead at 2-1. MacInnis with a shot. Puck bounces high to the corner off the pad of McLean. Fleury has it. Fleury cross ice for Nieuwendyk, and it bounced over his stick. Back to MacInnis, over to the other side. Zalapski to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk to Fleury. Fleury shoots, saved by McLean, and the puck is cleared by Tim Hunter.
Well, some very quick puck movement by the Calgary Flames. Vancouver still aggressive on the penalty kill, doing a good job. When they do get a chance, you very rarely see McIntyre and Tim Hunter not get the puck out. Now, Reichel is a guy, Don, that is very, very good at taking what doesn't appear to be anything on a power play and turning it into something. When he's on the side of the net, he sometimes holds onto the puck a little too long, but unable to do it. When he does that, these sorts of numbers start to materialize. 93 points this year for Reichel. Titov, a very, very strong player, as he exhibits here. He gets the lid popped off him. A good trick by a defenseman, a little bit like the Muhammad Ali glove behind the neck, pull the head down, take some of the ability of your opponent to breathe away. Well, this is different. If you push the guy's helmet up just a tad, it's a little bit like sunglasses that you can't see out of. Dana Merzen went a little bit too far there on Titov and pushed the melon protector right off of his tape.
Would you run that by me again in English, please?
Well, that's a little bit of it. Knocked his helmet off, Don.
16 seconds remaining in the penalty to Murray Craven. Calgary leading by a score of 2-1. Flames control it. Reichel takes a shot. It goes off Babbage to the corner. Nieuwendyk. One of three Flames in there fighting for the puck. Kissio comes up with it. Back to Yanni. His shot is high off the glass as the Canucks are back at full strength. Craven moves it to center ice beyond the reach of Hunter.
We mentioned Babbage at the start of the game. He was just in the corner with three Flames. Took care of all three of them.
Craven runs into Kissio, and the puck is dumped down the ice. Musil goes back after it. Now it's Fleury coming in against Brown. Back to MacInnis. He shoots, and that's kicked up into the crowd by McLean. 5:02 the time remaining in the first period. 2-1 Calgary leads Vancouver. At this time we say hello to the folks who have been watching the scoreless battle that is going into overtime between Toronto and Chicago. I'm Don Whitman along with Jim Poplitsky and Ken Daniels at the Saddle Dome in Calgary, and Brett Hedican and Kelly Kissio drew minor penalties as a result of this skirmish after the whistle had gone.
Well, just like the Chicago-Toronto game, we've got a much more intense contest in the first 15 minutes of the second game of this series. Gary Fraser has been rather busy. A few minor penalties to both teams. Calgary has negated power play opportunities with a little bit of lack of discipline on two occasions. That particular replay with Kissio and Hedican, both guys going off. And this will be the third opportunity in this hockey game where we've had 4-on-4 play.
And the last time they skated 4-on-4, both teams scored a goal. 12-7, the shots on goal favor the Flames, and they lead the hockey game 2-1. Reichel against Craven. They tie each other up in the face-off circle. Dave Babbage has the puck back of his own net. Craven couldn't handle the pass. It goes loose in the boards. Picked up there by Fleury. Rink wide for Patrick. He winds and fires wide. Puck is behind Fleury at center ice. He's being watched by Craven. Over to Patrick. Another penalty coming up. This one against Bure. Fleury in across the line. His shot goes wide. Off Off the boards, kept in by Zalapski, freed for Reichel, right on the shot, and McLean kicks it to the corner, and as Babbage touches, the whistle goes, and the Calgary Flames will have a power play with Bure going to the penalty. Lost the first game to the Los Angeles Kings, won the second game 9-4 in a wild shootout here at the Saddle Dome, but went on to lose the series 4-2. Dave King has taken a little different approach to getting his Flames ready for this playoff series. More relaxed, not the intensity of last year where so much time was spent with the players reviewing videotape. As a matter of fact, this morning at the skate, the team was only on the ice for about 20 minutes. Back to the point to MacInnis. Over to Fleury. To MacInnis. MacInnis winds, shoots, scores!
John, Vancouver had a 5-on-3 a little earlier. And we said that if you win the face-off and set things up, you can get a great scoring opportunity in a half a dozen seconds. Well, a 4-on-3 is very similar. Vancouver took MacInnis away in the first game. Fleury on the side. Nieuwendyk jumps out of the way, and a shot from the point took only 10 seconds to register. Another goal for Calgary. They go up 3-1, 14 shots to the 7 that Vancouver's had so far.
MacInnis gets his first goal of the playoffs, but a lot of credit for that goal should go to Joe Nieuwendyk in front of the net because he was probably providing a pretty good screen on Kirk McLean.
Well, when you get a goaltender, and there's no magic to this comment, that sees the puck and has been stopping it the way McLean has, you have to find a way to get in front of him. Nieuwendyk did that. Combine those two things with the bullet that MacInnis fires from the point, and lots of times it turns into goals.
Fleury and Zalapski draw the assists on the power play goal by MacInnis at 15:46. Here's Roberts moving in, a backhand shot, and again Roberts goes crashing into the net and into goaltender McLean. And a penalty is being called by referee Gary Fraser on Gary Roberts.
Gary Roberts is getting an interference penalty here, and he's going to be a little owly about it.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Gary Roberts was very upset with the call by referee Gary Fraser. He smashed his stick against the glass as he went to the box. He was lucky he didn't get a misconduct there. Goaltender interference was the call by Fraser. Let me tell you, if you don't play special teams in this series, you're not going to see a whole bunch of ice time.
Oh, you got that right. Gary Fraser feeling that Roberts could have gotten out of the way of McLean, and because he didn't assess the penalty, I'm not sure that Roberts could have got out of the way on that particular rush.
Bure in the slot area. Over to Courtnall. Courtnall's shot is blocked, even though Vernon was down, and there's another penalty call being made. Craven heads to the penalty box. There has been a constant parade, and the occupancy code over there might be in jeopardy in a moment. Well, I think the double minor.
I think the Calgary fans will like this call. I believe Craven got the first penalty, and then he got an additional 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's a tripping call and unsportsmanlike conduct against Craven.
Well, there's the first penalty. Now, lots of times you want your stick between your opponent's legs. Craven had his stick between Patrick's legs as he goes down. When you're wrestling in front of the net, sometimes that happens. I'm kind of surprised that Fraser made that call. But something that Vancouver did as well as any team I've ever seen in the game that opened this series was when there was a penalty called, they said, right or wrong, we're not discussing it, we're going straight to the bench. Well, Calgary didn't do that, and they earned a couple of more in game 1. Vancouver tonight has yapped a couple of times, and it just cost Murray Craven. Remember, Don, I said at the start of the game, if you embarrass Gary Fraser, whether it's accidental or otherwise, you can run into problems. And you start yapping at this guy, and you're barking up the wrong tree. Craven did that cost him an extra 120 seconds.
3-1 is the score here at the Saddle Dome with 3:32 remaining in the period. Elsewhere, Chris Osgood with 22 saves in blanking the San Jose Sharks 4-0. That series now moves to San Jose for the next 3 games. In the third period, St. Louis and Dallas are tied at 2. Dallas leads that series 1-0.
I wonder how tough the decision was for Scott Bowman to go with Osgood as opposed to Bob Essenson.
He kept it a secret until just before game time. MacInnis with a shot, and McLean gets a piece of it. Moves it up on the right side to Dydyk. Dydyk and Linden in across the line. A long shot by Dydyk goes wide. Babbitt shovels it to the corner. Dydyk races in after it. And now Kissio and McIntyre are back in the ice. The puck is loose behind the Calgary net. Picked up there by Linden. Linden tried to center, and it was picked off by Fleury. MacInnis, break wide pass for Kissio. Kissio tried to go behind his back to Fleury. It was broken up at the line by Brown. Brown knocks it away from Kissio. Brown tried to go in front to Jelena, blocked by Zalapski, and another penalty call has been made by Fraser.
Well, your comment, Don, about if you're not on special teams, you're not getting a chance to play, couldn't be more accurate, and Dave King knows it. Now, with all of these penalties and the fact that lots of guys aren't playing, something that a number of these guys may potentially do in between periods is jump on the bike. Stationary bike, put the pedals between the blade and the boot of your skate and ride it for 5 or 10 minutes, get some blood flowing because you've been sitting on your derriere. That's French for backside, Don. And although it's been a great period to watch, if the coach calls upon you, whether you're wearing a black uniform or a white one, you want to be ready to go, and a bit of a spin on the bike in between periods to get the blood flowing again in your veins.
A high sticking call against Patrick. That comes at 17:34. 4 against 3. Vancouver with the manpower edge.
I wonder how many penalties we would have gotten in game 1. Kerry was refereeing that one.
Well, a few guys were thrown out in game 1. Half the bench might have been ejected in game 1. Bure comes to the line with Ronning, feeds Ronning. Ronning tried to go cross ice, blocked by Musil. Bure has it again. Bure getting set. He lets the shot go. Ronning grabs the rebound. Now Roberts is out of the penalty box. Kevin Dahl picks up the loose puck and feeds Roberts. Roberts kills off some time as his team makes a line change. He tries to play it in off Zalapski. It was beyond his reach. McLean has it back at the net, plays it up high in the glass, but not out. Titov puts on the brakes, feeds it out front, intended for Al MacInnis. He couldn't get a shot away. 1:22 remaining in the opening period. 3-1, the Flames lead the Canucks. The Canucks won game 1, 5-0 Monday night. The series moves back to Vancouver for games 3 and 4, Friday night and Sunday afternoon. Titov watching Lumme. Lumme's having some problems with him, now gets away, one hands it ahead to McIntyre. Drop pass at the line for Lumme, it's picked off. Joel Otto starts back. MacInnis jumps up into the play, so does Titov. Back to MacInnis, he scores! Three-way passing. Otto, Titov, and MacInnis with the big defenseman, the trigger man.
Well, this is tough enough to do if you're going at half speed. These guys are full bore. They know where the passes are going before it gets to the stick. Talk about pinpoint passing and puck movement. There's nothing at all that Merzen can do there except hope that it hits him. What an unbelievably executed play. Nieuwendyk and Titov setting up MacInnis for his second goal, the 4th of the period for the Calgary Flames. What a beauty to watch. It doesn't matter who you're cheering for. You got to appreciate the skill and talent on that goal.
MacInnis with his second from Nieuwendyk and Titov. towards the net and redirected by Vernon. Knocked down in front of the net by Vernon. Vernon is down and it's fired wide by Courtnall. Here comes Patrick. He can't get to the net. Now it's Courtnall. Dumping it down the ice with just 6 seconds remaining. And it's dumped out to center ice as Reichel takes a hit along the boards from McIntyre just as the horn sounds to end period 1, but a totally different period for the Calgary Flames in game 2 than they played in game 1 of this series. And they lead it by a score of 4-1, outshooting the Canucks 17-9. Now let's go downstairs and here play for a 4-1 lead.
Be ready to be on special teams in the opening period. In fact, just under 15 minutes of either 5-on-4, 5-on-3, 4-on-3, or 4-on-4 play.
Still 16 seconds remaining in the penalty to Murray Craven. A double minor he picked up late in the first period.
I would think the intensity of the game will drop a little bit. Calgary was really under pressure to come out with some jump, and Vancouver wanted to withstand that. They didn't leave the first period quite as close as they would have liked, but now is their opportunity as that adrenaline has drained a bit from the Flames to get themselves back into this hockey game.
And Murray Craven is back on the ice as the Vancouver Canucks are in full strength.
And this goal really lit up the Saddle Dome and sent the Flames to the dressing room with a great feeling. Watch the passing play. Remember, this is absolute full speed, pinpoint, tape-to-tape passing. You know, we talked with Dave King this morning, Don, and one of the comments that we all agreed upon was after you're up away from the game for 2 or 3 games, you lose respect for the speed of the game. When you're watching it on TV or when you come to the PNE or the Saddle Dome or any other building to watch a National Hockey League game, get down close to the glass for a couple of shifts so you respect just how difficult it is to make a play like we just saw.
Fleury threw it in front. It was knocked away to Bure. Can't go anywhere with it. Reichel tied up by Babbage. Centering pass. Sullivan with a shot. As Reichel still managed to get the puck over to Sullivan, even though Babbage had him tied up, and Sullivan almost got his second of the game.
Well, McLean had to make a great save here. This puck was really rolling and bouncing. McLean was completely stretched. Look at this. He got it right on the tip of his glove. He needed the full 16 inches of the mesh in that pocket to snag a real floater from Sullivan.
Face-off to the right of McLean. From the face-off, Reichel drove it towards the net, and McLean made the save. Patrick and Zalapski are forced back into their own zone by the forechecking of Ojek and Craven. Babbage waits for his mates to get back on side, played it in and hit the helmet of Zalapski. Babbage blocks a clearing attempt at the line, into the slot for Ojek. He couldn't get a shot. Zalapski flips it up around the boards. Babbage pinches in from the point. Causing the Flames all sorts of difficulty in their own zone. Now a lead pass for Reichel, too far for him. McLean plays it back to the net. And a whistle on the play with 18:22 remaining in the second period, and another penalty call against Vancouver, or Calgary.
Dave Babbage gets a pair for interference here. Fleury really put the burners on, and he didn't have the puck, and forced Babbage to make a decision as to whether he wanted to get beat in neutral ice or risk taking a penalty. Babbage got in front of Fleury. Fleury went down, and Fraser called the penalty.
So the Flames have another power play opportunity with Babbage up. They're led by Al MacInnis. For Walls. Walls knocked off the puck by Musil. Puck loose in the corner. Roberts feeds it back to Yanni. Yanni to MacInnis. He fakes it back to Yanni. Yanni lets the shot go. It's blocked. Yanni gets it back again. Over to MacInnis. His shot is blocked by Hunter. Another shot from the point. McLean makes the save. Yanni has it. Dumps it to the corner. Lumme plays it ahead to Hunter. He dumps it down the ice. Hunter tried to get past MacInnis. MacInnis was knocked down in the process. Yanni was able to get back to the puck. Stolen by Courtnall. His shot, that's fired wide. Now Nieuwendyk jumps up to Courtnall. He scores! Short-handed goal for Geoff Courtnall. He stole the puck initially. And with Nieuwendyk jumping up into the play, he got it back to Courtnall, and it's a 4-2 hockey game.
The second shorthanded goal of the game. Great presence of mind here by Courtnall. Vancouver a little bit coy here now, as Calgary has lost a little bit of that adrenaline, and Vancouver with some patience and some good passing as well, as Nieuwendyk throws it across. Courtnall is in good position to get back if Calgary attacks on the power play, or if the pass is made to have an opportunity. Fleury dished one off that Bure and Courtnall capitalized on in game one. Well, Courtnall just did exactly the same thing to Fleury in a little different fashion in game two.
Courtnall from Nieuwendyk at 2:44, the shorthanded goal for Vancouver. MacInnis having some problems handling the puck. Fleury is forced to fire it back of the net to MacInnis. Still 36 seconds remaining in the Babbage penalty. Courtnall has it again for Linden. Linden trying to work his way through. He was checked, and Fleury picks up the puck. Hedeken will fire it off the boards and down the ice. As Zalapski goes back after it, the Canucks change up their penalty killing. Craven is out there now, along with Bure. Zalapski gets to the line. Sullivan goes to the net. The puck is fired into the corner for Reichel. And now Babbage is on the ice as the Canucks are back at full strength. Murzin for Craven. Craven leads it at center ice, picked off by Fleury. He can't go anywhere with it. Babbage starts back for Vancouver. Babbage with a quick shot kick to the corner. Murzin for Craven, back of the net. Musil trying to get away from Craven. Craven couldn't center it, and it's flipped down the ice, and this will produce a whistle as Lumme goes back to touch it for the icing against the Calgary.
Courtnall with a shorthanded goal, and that's a great way to kill a penalty.
Hedeken with the shot right on. Patrick skates it out of his own zone. Ahead to Sullivan. Off the end board, Sullivan went racing in after it, but Jeff Brown beat him to the puck. Craven rink wide for Ojik. Ojik flips it up along the glass. Brown races in after it. Patrick gets there first. Now Zalapski throws it around the boards to the other side for Roberts. He plays it to an open wing. Nieuwendyk racing after it. Nieuwendyk going to the backhand, waits for help to Zalapski. A shot right on, and Roberts overskated the rebound and went crashing into McLean. Now Bure comes in. Bure feeds it back to the point. Brown to Hedeken, a shot up high, and Vernon holds it for the faceoff. And now, as he skates off to the bench, Gino Ojik knocks down Gary Roberts. There had been a penalty call against the Calgary Flames.
Gary Roberts is receiving 2 minutes for charging as he ran into Kirk McLean. This is similar to the interference penalty that Roberts got. You've got to get out of the way of the goaltender. He's not fair game as Nieuwendyk drives and then circles. Roberts keeps coming through. Now watch in the middle of your screen as Roberts runs right over McLean. And once again, Fraser is assessing that Roberts could have gone out of the way. Now, Roberts gets a bit of a tug from Ojik and hopes to even up this ball. Remember Roberts' injury up top. Whenever he falls, even if you might categorize it as a bit of a dive, he's going to feel it as he adjusts the little bit of extra equipment that he's wearing tonight.
A charging call against Roberts. He and McLean have really been involved with each other in tonight's hockey game.
You can say that again. Calgary's power play is 1 for 4 so far tonight. They've had only 3 shots on goal on their power play. They haven't had any shots on the last 2 and 1 shot on the last 3.
A race for the loose puck. Titov goes after it. Otto Otto moves up with him. Titov's shot is blocked by Brown. It goes to the corner. Titov leaves it there for Otto. Otto dumps it back of the net. Brown trying to set things up to Linden. He dodges a check. Linden works in against Musil for Courtnall. He tried to get it back to Linden. Linden was tied up by Musil. The puck in the corner. Linden centering attempt grabbed by MacInnis, and he whips it off the glass and down the ice.
Trevor Linden with a great effort busting through the Calgary defense, causing Fraser to decide whether he's going to call a penalty or not. Doesn't always happen, but he's making Fraser make the choice, and he's also making the Flames defense aware that he's going to continue to press them, not only on the outside, but on the inside as well. That's the penetration we're talking about.
Sullivan and Fleury are out penalty killing for Calgary. Dahl back into his own zone. Bure with a good move, keeps it in at the point. Courtnall goes back to the net, tried to center, it's blocked. Linden has it in the corner. He feeds the point. Bure over to Brown. Back to Bure. Bure into Linden. Brown goes for the net. Couldn't get a shot away. Center. And Courtnall couldn't get a stick on it. And the Flames clear.
Brown reading the play very, very well, sneaking in on the right-hand side. The angle had been cut off, but a good job by Vancouver to find a hole, see if they can get that seam and generate a scoring opportunity. They've started to get some more shots this period, something that they didn't do well in the first period.
20 seconds remaining in the Roberts penalty. Martin Jelena taken in against the boards by Zalapski. Puck goes loose, picked up by Otto. And Otto will take his time as he skates it out and dumps it back into the Vancouver zone, and that should kill off the final seconds in the Roberts penalty. He now steps back in the ice. Here comes Jelena again. Jelena went for Craven, and Craven was tied up. Titov tried to get out of the zone. He was upset, and the penalty coming up against Vancouver. Roberts with a shot that deflects up high and out of play. So the Calgary Flames will have a power play with 12:39 remaining. Welcome back to the Saddle Dome in Calgary, a building that will undergo extensive renovations before next season. Martin Jelena goes off for tripping at 7:21. He upended Titov along the board.
Now, the thing that Carey Fraser has done is he's been pretty consistent from the start of this game. The teams weren't quite sure how much he'd let go, but when there's been fouls like that, he has called them, and he continues to call them.
3-2, Dallas leads St. Louis with 5 minutes remaining at Reunion Arena. Zalapski for MacInnis. Kissio having some problems along the boards for Roberts. He leaves it in the corner for Reichel. Zalapski to MacInnis. His shot is up high and off the glass. Hunter knocks it down the ice.
Boy, Al MacInnis with a real rocket, looking to go to the top of the Flames glove hand. He almost went to the top of Kissio's helmet.
Roberts gets to the line. Drops it off for Zalapski. Over to MacInnis. MacInnis with a shot, fired wide. Zalapski at the other point, leaves it for Kissio. He tried to slide it in at the side of the net for Roberts. It was deflected away from him. Murzin takes his time, and he dumps it down the ice. 1 minute remaining in the penalty. Here's Nieuwendyk, but it's an offside pass to the Calgary captain.
Al MacInnis has done a great job on the power play for the Calgary Flames. Of his 82 points this year, 56 of them have come on the power play. Way ahead of everybody else. The big reason for that is MacInnis has not been injured to any great degree this year, and he's always been out there either with Gary Suter, now with Patrick or Zalapski. Look at Dana Murzin right in the middle there as that puck comes across. He steamrolls Kissio. I think that Kissio might thank Murzin when this series is over. If he hadn't gone down, that puck of MacInnis's might have hit him.
It's not an enviable job taking up a position in front of the net when MacInnis is winding up to let that big slap shot go.
Well, you learn to trust a guy too. MacInnis rarely hits guys now. In practice is where you don't want to take that risk. In the game, it's not so bad if you get a welt and the puck goes in, but as Ken Daniels established with MacInnis in game one, this guy has got a very, very hard shot, and it's also tremendously accurate as well.
23 seconds remaining in the Calgary power play. Here comes Nieuwendyk. by Babbage. MacInnis gains control of the puck again, but his pass intended for Fleury misses the mark. Now he does get it to Fleury with Walls. Fleury getting set, he shoots. It's deflected before it gets to the net. And now Vancouver is back at full strength. Jelena out of the penalty box. Zalapski at the point for Fleury. Fleury leaves it in the corner. Wes Walls, who did not dress in game one, raced after it, but it was dumped out of the zone. And the puck is dumped in, and as McLean makes the stop, the whistle goes with 10:21 remaining in the second.
Well, Calgary played .500 in the playoffs at home in the regular season, including the game a couple of nights ago. They've been very impressive. They've been 18-10-4 in the last 32 games. They had a 4-game winning streak at home. Vancouver simply did not bother with those statistics in game one. Came in, played an outstanding hockey game, and deserved to win it 5-0.
On the power play, Calgary has cashed in on 1 of 5 chances. One power play goal, I guess you could say, was negated by the shorthanded tally they gave up. At the point, Musil plays it to an open corner. Another penalty coming up. Terry Fraser has certainly been busy with the whistle tonight.
Well, that's number 19. 19th minor penalty of the game. Hedekin and Stern get mixed up. It's jockeying for position. Stern goes down and Hedekin gets a pair.
Brett Hedekin goes to the penalty box for interference at 10:08 of the second. I talked about the Calgary power play as we see the interference in front of the net. 1 goal and 5 power play opportunities. Calgary on its last 4 power plays has managed just 1 shot. Here's MacInnis with a shot right on.
Well, that's something when you're on the bench, even though you've got a 4-2 lead, your team's been playing pretty well. Just as Vancouver had a handy lead a couple of nights ago and were playing well, they recognized that they had to do some other things a little bit better and kept improving their game. Power play is an area tonight that Calgary can definitely improve upon.
Reichel takes the shot. The big rebound is picked up by Merzen, and he clears. 9:19 remaining in the second period. It's a 4-2 hockey game. The Flames leading the Canucks. Reichel races into the corner after the puck. He feeds the point. MacInnis to Zalapski. Into Fleury. Back to MacInnis. There's the shot. Score! Nieuwendyk deflected.
Now watch MacInnis as he takes this shot. It's kind of like a smooth golf swing. He's able to take something off of it, and he does that for Nieuwendyk regularly. Very easy shot, nice and smooth. Nieuwendyk positions himself perfectly in that high slot, and with great hand-eye and countless hours of practicing deflections, Calgary has just equaled the number of goals that Vancouver got in the first game of this series. Well, Pat Quinn had things go pretty well for him in game 1 of the series. And tonight, everything's gone in Calgary's favor, and his reaction simply states that obvious fact.
MacInnis and Fleury draw the assists on Nieuwendyk's second goal of the hockey game. And it's now 5-2, Calgary leading. Meso bumping along the boards. Puck is centered. Nobody in position, and Cruz and McCarthy, who have seen very little ice time, can't do anything with it. Meso hasn't seen a lot of ice time either. Stolen now by Diddick. Diddick wheels and lets the shot go off the skate to the corner, and Walls will simply relieve the pressure by hammering it down the ice, and this will be an icing call against Calgary.
Now, there was the odd grumbling after the first game, Don, where Calgary got physical and took some needless and senseless penalties at the end of the game through frustration and whatever other excuses you want to build. Vancouver said, boy, if we ever find ourselves in that situation, they kind of might have to watch for that. Well, this situation is starting to materialize. Calgary ahead by 3 now. McCarthy and Ojic, the best of pals when they played for the Laval Titans. But clearly they've made a truce not to have too many conversations while this series is going on, and we might see a little bit of the rough stuff that both of these guys discussed before this series started and then after the shenanigans that took place in the first 60 minutes of this 7-game series.
Face off to the right of Vernon. Reichel and Craven. Craven gets the draw back to the line. Etiken had no alternative but to try and dump it to the corner. Brown raced up, couldn't get to the puck in time. Bure doing a good job of coming back, takes it away from Reichel. Zalapski couldn't go anywhere with it. And as it's dumped into the corner, Calgary defenseman goes back after it again. He tried to play it off the glass for Fleury, but it was beyond him, and it's another icing call against Calgary.
A serious knee injury, and he came back after a tough season. He got in a bit of a fracas with the media at the end of last year after Calgary lost the first round of the playoffs. Really came back with a vengeance and showed some spirited play. And you got to do that to win the Molson Cup.
Cruz has it in the corner. He's checked by Ronning, but the loose puck is picked up by Titov. Titov takes a hit from Linden as he dumps it into the Vancouver zone. Otto steps into Murzin, but Murzin manages to clear. It's fired back in by MacInnis. Murzin has it again. For Lumme. Otto stepped into Murzin. Titov and Otto come in across the line, but it's offside. Called against Calgary, and Musil and Ronnie
buys him in some way. I'm not saying hit him when he's not looking, but find a half a step so that when he thinks you're going to hit him, you don't. And when he isn't braced, you catch him. Otherwise, you're going to go down just like Joel Otto did.
Emotions between these two teams ran very high during 7 regular season meetings. Calgary with the edge, 4-2-1. And obviously, those same feelings are continuing in the postseason.
Now here is a great trick. Tim Hunter is completely innocent here. Paul Cruz, you'll see, will exchange his stick. Hunter and Cruz right at the face-off, Don, and Hunter's doing all he can here not to smile. I can guarantee you. Cruz thinks it's kind of funny too. Hunter, watch Hunter, his right foot, watch him step on Cruz's stick. Right there. Now you can't see it because I think Leon Stickle is right in the play, and Hunter here is saying, no, it wasn't me. Now, if Hunter times that just a second better, the puck will drop. There's the evidence right there. He won't be able to refute that, although he is a great arguer. If Hunter times that a little bit better, the puck drops, and Cruz now has got a broken stick and has to go and get it changed.
Babbage being watched by McCarthy. Moves it ahead for Diddick. Vernon played that one rather casually, letting it slide right through the crease. Diddick has it. Diddick fakes the shot over to Babbage. He lets it go. Puck kicked out. Picked up at the side of the net. They bang away at it. And there's a penalty coming against Calgary as Hunter was at the side of the net jamming away at the puck. Cruz comes in to the corner and there's some pushing and shoving. But nobody is dropping gloves, at least not yet.
Well, you've got a fair amount of beef on the ice. McCarthy and Antoski are two huge men. Timmy Hunter and Paul Cruz round out a pretty impressive bout if things ever get going. Tim Hunter's dad, Ralph, lives in town. Now, he didn't come to game 1. Tim couldn't convince him to come. He wanted to stay and listen to Don Whitman. He did that, and I would think with the results that Vancouver had in the first game, with the superstitions that run through athletes and their families, he's watching this one as well.
Cruz draws a holding call at 13:22 with another update. Here's Ken Daniels.
All right, Don, let's take you to Reunion Arena. As you can see, late in the game, and Dave Gagne steals at center, a race for it with Phil Housley. Gagne gets there first, about 3 bounces into the net. That makes it 4-2 for the Dallas Stars. That game is now over. 51 shots the Stars put on Joseph. A final score as Dallas evens up Dallas leads their series with St. Louis now 2-0. Elsewhere, Detroit has tied up their series with San Jose, heading to San Jose for the next 3 as Detroit wins 4-0, and the Leafs in overtime beat Chicago 1-0. Back up to Don.
Power play for the Vancouver Canucks with 6:38 remaining in the second period. 5-2, the Flames lead. Brown, the lone man, back at the point. They get the puck to him, but he had problems controlling it. Linden with some good work keeps it in. Ronning scores as he was in front of Vernon, and on Linden's shot, he was able to grab it and showed some patience again to put it past Mike Vernon. It's 5-3.
You want to see hand-eye coordination and great skill. Watch little Cliffy Ronning here. He deflects the puck and isn't in a rush to get it here. Calgary doesn't clear. Watch this deflection. Enough to take it over. That's a planned play. You might think that was accidental. He deflected the puck and turned around waiting for it. Passed it to himself. What a great goal by Ronning.
Ronning's second goal of the playoffs. He scored a big goal in game 1 in the 5-0 triumph. The power play goal with Linden drawing the assist comes at 13:31. And Linden did an excellent job of keeping that puck onside.
You bet. Strong on the face-off. Calgary should have had that puck out. That space about 4 feet on the one side of the blue line is an area where you have to play desperation hockey, particularly when you're killing a penalty.
Wall's forced in his own zone. Manages to get it back again. For McCarthy, Jelena goes in against the boards against Big McCarthy. Now Memesso comes in to help out as well with 6 minutes remaining in the second period. 5-3, the Flames lead. Yanni for McCarthy. He had problems controlling it. It was chipped past him. Walls couldn't go anywhere with it. The Flames making a change. Memesso gets to the center line before he dumps it to the corner, and now the Canucks make a change. Memesso goes into forecheck. He takes Kevin Dahl right to the net. Those two tie each other up. Here comes Fleury with a shot right on, and Merzen is back after it. 5:24 remaining in the second. 5-3 to score. Dumped in, cleared to the corner, but not out as Brown at the point gets it back to the net for Bure. Bure is checked, and the puck is moved ahead to Reichel. Patrick jumps up into play, so does Zalapski. Zalapski takes the pass, and McLean comes out of the net to check him. Good play by Kirk McLean as Zalapski jumped up into the play and was in alone.
When you think a goaltender just has to watch for shots, McLean, as soon as that pass was made across to Sullivan, was on his way out to stack the pads. He did that. Surprised the Flame attacker and ended up saving the goal.
Courtnall with a shot right on. Back to the point. Babic keeps it in. MacInnis to Titov. Titov leaves it in the corner. Cruz goes back to the net. Cruz, a backhand shot. Tried to pick the short side. Puck loose at the side of the net. Ronnie plays it up along the boards for Linden. Now it's Cruz driving it to the corner. Back to the net. Now McLean decides to play it himself. Rink-wide pass for Linden. He gets away from Roberts. Ball goes to the corner after. Head for Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk steers it down into the Vancouver zone. Courtnall banks it off the boards. Stern took a swipe at it. It hit the linesman and didn't go into the Vancouver zone. Hunter takes Yanni in against the end boards. Dahl chops it ahead to Stern. For Nieuwendyk, he has Roberts with him. Nieuwendyk drops it at the line for Yanni. Yanni is checked, and back comes Carson, but there's a penalty call in the play against Vancouver with 3:13 remaining in the period.
Sean Antoski gets a pair for hooking. Flames get another power play.
Remaining in the second period. Calgary leading 5-3 with Fantoski in the penalty box. He, in his first playoff game, has not seen a lot of action. Only a couple of shifts in this second period after not getting on the ice in the first period. Corner, Reichel gives it around for MacInnis to Zalapski, in for Fleury. Back to Zalapski. Nieuwendyk in front of the net. Zalapski lets the shot go, and Nieuwendyk couldn't get a stick on it. McIntyre against Zalapski. Had some problems, but finally was able to clear. It out of the zone. 1:18 remaining in the Fantoski penalty. Fleury in across the line. Again, Nieuwendyk goes for the front of the net. Fleury is checked behind the goal by Babbage. Out front. Reichel tried to slip it through. They score. The puck came loose, and Fleury was able to bang it in.
So Calgary gets a break here. Reichel makes a great play. He doesn't jam the puck back into the traffic. He waits and waits, and although Reichel does not get the goal, he's the reason Fleury has this opportunity. A bit of a tough bounce here as Didick tries to whack it out. Look at Reichel, holds onto it. And Fleury comes into Reichel's vacuum and has a whole pile of net to shoot at.
Power play goal of the game for the Flames, and they lead it by a score of 6-3.
Calgary on a fair number of occasions this year have not allowed more than 3 goals. In fact, 53 of 84 regular season games. So Vancouver getting 3 tonight and 5 a couple of nights ago have done a good job in scoring goals. The focus now, though, is to stop the Flames from continuing with their onslaught.
Hedican again pitching in from the point. Meso tried to whip it around the boards for Bure. It's knocked down the ice, and Hedican has to retreat. He's being pressured there by Titov. Titov is knocked down. Fans reacting, thinking there would be a penalty call in the play, but it's an offside call against the Calgary Flames. Hedican even took a look at referee Kerry Fraser to see if he had been called on a penalty.
Well, Kerry Fraser has called a lot of penalties tonight. I think 21 so far. Now, he would have called this ordinarily. Hedican was already saying, hey, it was an accident. And I guess Fraser bought it. One thing, though, Fraser has been consistent so far.
Kissio grabs the big rebound, and his shot is gloved and held by Kirk McLean. Shot Vancouver 31-28 in game 1, but couldn't beat Kirk McLean. Tonight they've fired 29 shots at the Vancouver goaltender and managed to put 6 past him. Otto in the corner for Titov. Cruz comes in to help out. Carson knocks the puck to the other corner. Titov persists. He gets there. Can't find anyone to give it to. Leaves it back of the net. Brown fires it down the ice. Finish being watched by Carson. Carson steals it for Jelena. He scores! Well, every time when it looks as though the Flames might be in control, Vancouver comes right back.
But we talked in the first game about finding an edge. Here's an edge. And there's been a few of them where Vancouver has found a way to come back. A miscue and a perfect pass from Carson to Jelena. Jelena with some good speed finds nobody in front of him, and as much as Musil makes a great effort to come back, Jelena finds a hole. So Jelena playing with a couple of pretty impressive players, Adam Graves and Joe Murphy. was a big part of the success that the Oilers used in 1990 to win a Stanley Cup. And he doesn't look like he's lost his stride. Certainly he's been with a few teams since that time, but he can really skate, and Pat Quinn has put some confidence in him. He's been rewarded with that tonight.
All three members of that 1990 team that you referred to are trying to win a Stanley Cup this year with different teams. Jelena from Carson at 1854. 6-4 the score. Otto gets it. His shot is blocked. Big Merzen having problems with Roberts, leaves it back at the net for Lumme. Lumme feathers it ahead to Ronning. Ronning, rink-wide pass for Courtnall. Courtnall goes in deep for Merzen. Merzen couldn't get a backhand shot away as he was checked from behind by Zalapski. Zalapski back in his own zone. Fires it rink-wide. It's nudged ahead by Patrick. And then at center ice, Roberts steps into Courtnall and spins him around. Bure goes in against Zalapski back to the net, and another penalty has been called.
Well, Bure has attempted to make contact a couple of different times. When you leave your feet, the referee generally gives you a penalty, even if you're of the stature of Pavel Bure. Bure here jumps in on Zalapski, jumps up a bit, takes the body hard. And Fraser didn't really hesitate giving him a penalty.
A charging call against Pavel Bure with 10 seconds remaining in the period.
Undercharging, if you ever want to flip to the rule book, Rule 47 reads that a minor or major penalty shall be imposed on a player who runs, and that's the 3 steps that generally is read into the charging penalty, or jumps into an opponent. Bure jumped a bit, and now he jumps to the penalty box for 2 minutes.
Pat Quinn was talking about how he stressed discipline to his team prior to game 1. In tonight's hockey game, there have been some undisciplined penalties taken by the Canucks.
A little bit. I was so impressed with Vancouver's discipline in the first game. You can always tell when a team is disciplined if a penalty is called and the guy goes straight to the box. Vancouver was rushing to the box after a penalty was called in game 1. Didn't discuss it with the referee, simply went to the box and served their penance, and didn't have any retaliatory penalties. Tonight, there's been a couple that haven't been of a great nature, and there's been some chatter as well that has taken some of the focus away from Vancouver's game.
Now the Calgary Flames, leading by 2, will start the third period with 1:50 remaining in the penalty to Bure, so it's a good way for Calgary to start the third on the power play.
Well, Vancouver had a great opportunity after the goal by Jelena. Had Bure not taken this penalty, they would have at the very worst gone in 5-on-5. Now they have to kill a penalty before they start to come back from this 2-goal lead. They've done it, Don, as you mentioned, a number of times tonight, and with the edge that they seem to have been finding, it wouldn't surprise me to see this game get closer before the third period is over.
Based on regular season points, the Maple Leafs would certainly have to be favored, and the Detroit Red Wings behind rookie Chris Osgood bounced back with a 4-0 win over San Jose, and they really needed it with the series now shifting to San Jose for the next 3 games. The whistle on the play as the shoot-in bounced off the glass at the Calgary bench. Well, Murray Craven had his bell rung in the second period, but even though he's a little woozy, he is back on the Vancouver bench.
Well, he went into the dressing room for a little bit. Bure, not much emotion on that face right now.
Man who scored 60 goals this year has yet to score in this series. Pat Quinn, in commenting on the shadowing job that the Calgary Flames were expected to do, said you have to be resilient. You have to bounce back, and he's looking for Bure to do that. Calgary moving it around. Reichel for Fleury, and Fleury couldn't handle it when he initially got it, and McLean was out of position.
Remember, Don, I mentioned that Reichel is a player that sometimes takes nothing and turns it into something. All of a sudden, he's on the side of the boards. Doesn't look like there's much happening, and the next thing you know, there's a pinpoint pass that has Fleury all alone against McLean.
Zalapski leaves it in the corner for Titov. Back to Zalapski. Roberts Around to Fleury. MacInnis at the point. Had some problems handling the bouncing puck as he tried to feed it back into Fleury. It was knocked out of the zone. Here's a chance now for Titov. Titov scores!
Well, Jeff Brown earlier made a great play to intercept the puck and get it out. And Calgary with a super counter game turns it around. MacInnis with a perfect pass to Roberts, and Roberts switches things up. You notice Titov gets that left leg out. Yakushev used to do the same thing. Look at the left leg go out, kicks the stick out of the way. So the sweep check is not successful, and with a great reach, puts his first playoff goal as Kirk McLean.
MacInnis and Roberts draw the assists, and what a big night this has been for Al MacInnis. 2 goals and 3 assists.
Well, a perfect pass to Roberts. Roberts has been the real catalyst for the Calgary Flames tonight. I haven't looked at the score sheet or kept much track, but if you watch this game closely, even if you haven't watched it closely, you recognize that Gary Roberts is the guy that set the tone in this hockey game.
Pat Quinn was saying that Calgary had success during the regular season on the power play. 4 goals with a man advantage tonight for Calgary and moving into a 7-4 lead. Shot from the point by Babbage, and that was directed just wide of Mike Vernon.
And there goes Vancouver again. Every time you think they're out, they find a way to get back in. They continue to look for that edge.
Jelena's shot goes off a leg at the side of the net. Babbage, who went driving in, tried to jam it. Puck loose in front of the goal, and Fleury starts away. His rink-wide pass bounces off a skate, then Jelena runs into him, but Jelena is the one who goes down. What is that? 7-4. Calgary in front, and here's Ronning now. Trying to reduce the deficit to 2 again, and his shot is kicked to the corner by Mike Vernon. Yanni heads up the attack with Otto, and Titov, his long shot high off the glass. Back of the goal, Lumme has it now for Vancouver. Courtnall starts away with Linden and Ronning. Linden drops it for Ronning. He dodges a check, takes a shot, wide, they score! Linden picked it up off the end boards and put it in, and again it's a 2-goal game.
I get looking at games like this and I say, well, just think if Calgary wouldn't have scored the last one. And as a player, Vancouver has got to be thinking the same way. Linden, great skill here to manage to keep his feet on the right side of the goal line, so he's got an opportunity. Bumps Vernon a little bit, pushes him out of the way. Nobody contests it. What a great goal by Linden after a shot that just missed by Ronning.
Ronning and Courtnall also draw assists on the goal by Trevor Linden. His second of the playoffs, and again, it's a 2-goal game. As I said earlier, every time it looks as though the Flames might have control, the Vancouver Canucks show some resiliency, bouncing back, and here they come again. Antoski in across the line, tied up by Kissio. The puck is loose. Dahl has it. Antoski bumps him. Brown drives it in. McCarthy picks it up along the boards. McCarthy knocks it out to center ice. Antoski tried to step into walls, and it was Antoski who went down.
On 4 separate occasions now, we've had a goal by one team and then a reversal and a goal by the other. If Vancouver can find a way to do that one more time without giving Calgary the first goal, they've got an opportunity to make this game very, very interesting in the last few minutes. Well, Mike Vernon has not had an overly busy game tonight. This is his 76th playoff game in the National Hockey League Stanley Cup. Kirk McLean, on the other hand, 34 games, not quite as many as Vernon, and hasn't had the same amount of success. But you never know. Funny, both of these games, I'm sure, are different than what anybody would have expected. The first game, Calgary doesn't score, Vancouver gets a pile. This one now, a lot more scoring than you would have expected. And even if the Flames were to win, there will be some concern about allowing Vancouver so many. Vancouver will be looking at the game in a similar light.
Here comes Craven with Jelena. Babic racing for the net. Jelena was checked, and as he tried to go right wide, it bounced away from Didick. Now Zalapski winds up his shot right on, and with Reichel driving for the net, McLean has to hold the...
There's a guy like Al MacInnis. Look at the ice time that he's logged. 19 minutes. Bure, pretty consistent. 8 minutes one period, almost 9 the next. Theoren Fleury was 7 minutes and 33 seconds in the first period. Dave King mentioned this morning that he likes to get at least 7 minutes a period to Fleury. If he doesn't get that, he finds that Fleury's not near as effective.
Puck loose in front of the net. They scramble. Titov couldn't get a shot away. And a penalty call is made. Ronning was knocked down back of the net. But the call had been made prior to that by Fraser.
Oh, Kirk Ronning, you could hear him. He said, "What the heck was that?" Carey Fraser. And we'll see if we can't tell what it was. Joel Otto is right in the middle of things. Wants to get the dander of Linden a little bit. Bit of a pick play there.
And Dana Merzen heads to the penalty box. And at the side of the net, he took down Joel Otto. And a holding infraction provides the Calgary Flames with another power play.
Well, second games have been important for the Flames. When they've won the second game, they've gone on to win the series 6 out of 9 times. Vancouver, very important in the first game. They're 1-9 in the series after they would lose the first game. When they win the series, that improves substantially. They're 500, going 4-4.
The Flames have scored on their last 3 power play attempts. In game 1, they were 0 for 8 with the man advantage. They're batting .500 in tonight's game. They managed 1 goal in their first 5 chances, but they're 3 for 3 on their last 3. Now MacInnis at the point, can't keep it in. Here's McIntyre racing down the left side. Can't get away from Zalapski. Courtnall stepped into Reichel, but the puck came free to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk puts on the brakes. Back to the line, MacInnis over to Zalapski, into Fleury. It bounced away from him. Nieuwendyk gets it back to the goal. Fleury looking for someone, goes to MacInnis. He tried to get back to Fleury, and McIntyre fires at the length of the ice. 51 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dana Merzen. Patrick had his shoot in go off a Vancouver skate. Roberts being watched by Linden. It comes back to the line. Yanni's shot is blocked by Linden. Yanni goes into the corner for Walls. Walls taken in against the boards by Brown. And now Linden will get an opportunity to bring it out of the zone to Courtnall. Courtnall, a long shot. Vernon handles that. Linden races in after it. Almost took it away from him. Linden has it again for Bure. Quick shot just wide. Vernon grabs the puck at the side of the net. Bure has been shut out so far in the series. Initially, the first goal on Monday night was credited to him, but further review showed that Courtnall's centering pass actually went in off a leg. Dahl with a shot wide as Merzen is out of the penalty box, and the Canucks are back at full strength.
Well, 13.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Vancouver's down by a couple. You have to forget the fact that you've allowed 7 and start to mount some consistent pressure against Calgary.
Cruz chops it along the boards, too far for Kissio. Merzen now flips it to the line. Vernon comes way out of his net to play it to the other side for Dahl. Dahl takes a hit from Jelena against the end boards. Jelena has been playing a very physical game every time he's been on the ice, stepping into anybody and everybody. 13:01 remains in the third.
Oh, Al MacInnis with a new playoff record, 5 points in 1 game, beats Kent Nielsen Kent got 4 points in a game in the Chicago series in 1981. That was when the first series was 2 out of 3. Calgary went on to go past the first round for the first time in the franchise history that year and ended up getting beaten by Minnesota in the semifinals.
The general manager of the Flames, Doug Risebrow, defenseman Gary Suter, and Captain Nieuwendyk later, after the initial mark was established by Kent Nielsen, equaled that 4-point production. But the new standard has been set tonight by Al MacInnis. 2 goals and 3 assists. Etiken gets it over to Jeff Brown. Brown had to wait as Bure was in deep. Here's a chance now for Jelena. Quick shot, and that's kicked to the corner. And penalty has been called by Carey Fraser. Bure had been driving to the net on the quick release.
Well, Sullivan put the grip on Bure, and Fraser, who has called a number of restraining penalties tonight, sends Sullivan to the box with another one. I think that is about 24 minor penalties now. You know, this building is going to change over the next couple of years, and there's another building up north, Northlands, that will change as well.
Well, a very important meeting held tonight. Last week, Edmonton City Council approved a deal that would put $14 million into improvements to Northlands Coliseum and build a $9 million ballpark for the Edmonton Trappers. It also sees Northlands give up control of the Coliseum to the owner of the Oilers, Peter Pocklington, for $2.8 million a year. So that was approved by Edmonton City Council and Northlands. Very important meeting taking place in Edmonton tonight. So it looks as though the future of the team is secure. Brown along the boards, pokes it to the corner for Courtnall, to the other side for Linden. Back to Bure. Bure over to Brown. Back to Bure. To Brown. Brown at the side of the net. Courtnall for Ronning. Ronning jams away at it. And Vernon down makes the save. Bure couldn't get back to the point in time to keep it in the zone as Calgary clears.
Well, Vancouver has got a great opportunity here. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining on the penalty to Sullivan. They're 2 goals back, 11.5 minutes remaining in the third period. If they can get close, this will be a heck of an exciting remaining 10 minutes of the third.
Here's Gary Roberts with a breakaway. Going in alone, and it went off his stick. He tried to go to the backhand and couldn't get the shot away. Ronning throws it right wide for Brown. It's checked away from him by Fleury. He wasn't aware that where the puck had gone. And McLean flips it out to center ice. Roberts plays it back to Yanni. He fires at the length of the ice. 37 seconds remaining in the penalty to Sullivan. Jelena races for the dump in against Patrick. Comes around the boards to Bure. Bure throws it into the corner for Jelena. Jelena tried to go to the other side, and in attempting to clear, the Flames put it over the glass and out of play.
Gary Roberts has been a real inspiration to his team tonight. You see the collar around his neck. I think that's in part responsible for the fact he didn't get a shot on this breakaway. He's very, very sore up top. Watch as the puck rolls. That was the first problem. The second one, when he goes to his backhand, he lifts up a little bit. The puck rolls off. Now, to protect his injury and the whiplash that he has these special shoulder pads with a collar on it. You'll notice Adams, the make of the collar. Greg Adams started this off as Roberts went into the net. As a result of Adams with a great defensive play, this stops his neck from moving a little bit, reduces the chances of the whiplash getting worse, and takes away a bit of the pain.
Carson looks towards the net. Lets the shot go. It's blocked. He gets it again. Another shot is blocked, and it's brought out by Titov as Sullivan comes out of the penalty box. Babbage starts back for Craven. 18,318 watching the action tonight at the Saddle Dome. For the second consecutive playoff game, the building not sold out. As a matter of fact, for game 1, 17,000 and change, the smallest crowd of the season in Calgary. Loose puck at the side of the net. Ronnie Stern took a swipe at it, and McLean protected the short side. Didick for Momesso. Nieuwendyk is after him. Nieuwendyk managed to take it away from Momesso. Flipped into the zone, and Merzen gets it back to Momesso. Momesso can't go anywhere with it. Here's a chance now for Antoski. He just leveled MacInnis in front of the bench prior to that puck being flipped ahead to him, and then he's taken down, and there's going to be a penalty. Brent Yanni took Antoski down back to the net, but prior to that, he hammered MacInnis in front of the Calgary bench. 9:14 is the time remaining. Vancouver will have a power play when we come.
Yanni hog-tied Sean Antoski as Antoski drove around the outside. And this was a bit in retaliation for Antoski running over MacInnis. You're not going to see the hit here because MacInnis shoots the puck. And remember, we talked about in the first and second period about following through on checks. You got to make sure you're watching that. Antoski ran right over Al MacInnis. MacInnis had to get the puck in, but perhaps was not aware that Antoski was coming, and he really steamrolled him.
And Antoski at 6'4", 235 pounds, can run over people.
And he's very fast too, Don. In fact, a skating contest in a straight line that the Canucks had, Antoski beat Bure. Now, he can't necessarily put all that together and go around cones or players just as quickly as Bure, but in a straight line, boy, he has got some wheels.
Here's Titov. Long shot. Left at the side of the net for Bure. He feeds Courtnall. Courtnall went the other way. That fooled Ronning as he had to hold up at the line. And it's dumped down the ice by the Flames.
Vancouver's had a couple of great chances now. This is the second consecutive penalty that the Flames have had. Sullivan had one a little bit earlier that his team killed off. Vancouver with a great opportunity to cut this 2-goal margin to 1.
8:17 remaining in the third period. Goal here by Vancouver, and it would certainly make for a dramatic finish. Bure has it. Bure is checked by Roberts. Roberts trying to get away. He does. And his shot goes wide, and again he runs into McLean, and there's going to be a penalty. This will be the third goaltending interference call against Gary Roberts in tonight's hockey game.
Well, Dave King is livid. And all I can say to this is what we've said before about Carey Fraser. Fraser has set the standard, and there's no use in trying to change that. He's going to be consistent. If you want to talk to him after the game, you have an opportunity. Now, you be the judge as to whether Roberts can get out of the way of the contact with McLean or not.
Well, this game is going to be delayed because the fans did not like that call, and they are littering the ice with debris. Back to the Saddle Dome in Calgary, where the maintenance staff is removing litter from the ice, and when all that litter was raining down on the ice, Mike Vernon decided the safest spot was right in the net.
Well, and he's being rather wise about it. Even when guys are your own pals or your own fans, they might not be so accurate. Vernon getting a little bit of protection. Boy, Roberts has been absolutely unbelievable in the effort that he has given tonight. I suppose I could argue one side or the other as to whether Carey Fraser is right or wrong in making these calls, but the fact remains that he set the standard at the start of the game, and you might as well recognize that he's going to stick to his guns for the full 60 minutes.
He's made 20.
Garbage on the ice. If you're cheering for the Flames, even if you're against the referee, you've inadvertently given the Vancouver Canucks a nice opportunity to do some planning.
Vancouver had a two-man advantage in the first period, but couldn't convert. Now Bure has it. Back to the point. Round to Bure, his shot, and it whistles wide. Linden gains control. Round. Back to Linden. His shot is right on. Vernon makes the save. Bure in the other corner. Back to the point to Brown. Brown fakes. Gives it over to Linden, over to Bure. Bure at the side of the net for Ronnie, but it was checked away from him and back out to center ice.
Oh, a big miscue. Bure couldn't handle the puck. jumped off the stick, and that gave Calgary a great break.
And Nieuwendyk comes out of the penalty box to deflect a rink-wide pass, and the Flames knock it down the ice. 1:10 remaining in the penalty to Roberts. Brown opts to drive it in. Now MacInnis gets back first, and he's able to clear. Bure at the point tried to keep it onside, but he brought it back in offside.
Well, Bure with back-to-back 60-goal seasons, and in doing that, he's joined some very, very exclusive company. Just run down the list, and if you've ever played hockey or thought of playing hockey or just watched it, how would you like to have your name mentioned in the same breath as these characters?
Speaking about the gentlemen who have put together back-to-back 60-goal seasons, Steve Yzerman, again tonight, was not in the lineup of the Detroit Red Wings. Vancouver is having problems trying to set up. Very aggressive forechecking by Fleury and Titov. And now Brown heads up the attack for the Canucks. He dodges a check, gets it in for Jelena. Musil rides him in against the boards. MacInnis checks Craven. The puck comes back to Bure. Bure against Fleury. Can only shovel it to the corner. Jelena picks it up. Can't center. And it's picked up by Titov, and he fires at the length of the ice.
Well, you can see how Calgary has picked up some energy and some momentum from killing the 5-on-3. It's funny how you can be really tired, and when something goes right for you in a game, all of a sudden the shortness of breath and the lactic acid in your muscles seems to leave your consciousness.
Calgary now back at full strength with Roberts out of the penalty box. Yanni gets away from Memesso, and Roberts chops the puck the length of the ice, and this will be an icing call against the Calgary Flames with 5:33. Very pleased with his penalty killing tonight. Vancouver on the power play scored 1 goal and 9 chances. They managed a total of 6 shots on goal while holding the man advantage, and on the last 2 power plays failed to register a shot.
Well, King didn't have much of a compliment for his squad in game 1. When asked how he would rate their effort and their performance, he said, well, both were the same, about a 5 or a 6. And if you're going to win in the playoffs, that number has to be at least an 8. Vancouver was a 9, and that's why there was a 5-goal difference.
33-27, the edge in shots on goal for the Calgary Flames.
Well, Gary Roberts right in the middle of things, and although he hasn't filled his hat from a point of view, he has certainly been one of the 2 or 3 best Flames on the ice. He and Nieuwendyk and MacInnis have really led this hockey club this evening. Lots of solid players for Vancouver as well. Jelen has had a good game. Brown has been solid. Ronnie and Courtnall and Trevor Linden have been very good as well.
MacInnis with a club record 5 points tonight. Gives it to Musil. Ahead to Roberts. Long shoot in is blocked. McIntyre runs into MacInnis, takes a couple of swipes at him. Here's Nieuwendyk picking up the puck, throws it out front. Roberts couldn't get a shot away. McIntyre for Memesso. Memesso trying to get away from Musil, and the Calgary defenseman wins that battle. Lumme for Murzin. Murzin is bumped by Otto. Those two have had something going almost all night. Here comes Lumme, and another whistle and another penalty call. And Lumme, a little upset with it all, bounces the puck in the ice and then drop kicks it into the corner. Stern was knocked down by Courtnall, and that was the reason for the penalty call.
Well, Stern and Courtnall had a little bit of a thing going up the ice. This game was starting to reach a fever pitch before this penalty was called. There had been some pretty good body checks and some challenges as Courtnall and Stern rough it up a little bit. You be the judge as to whether that was a penalty or not. No question, a little bit of retaliation by Courtnall, but a very little bit. Ron Stern threw some of acting 101 in there. And Courtnall got the gate. Now, you know how many penalties there were in the first period after Ronnie Stern had a chance to talk with Ken Daniels. He didn't even have to use the Hockey Night in Canada towel. There was hardly any lather on him at all, because guys that simply play 5-on-5, when there's only 4.5 minutes of that in the first period, there's not much time. A huge difference from game one as far as production. Not a whole lot of shots, only one on average per power play, but when you score 4 power play goals, who cares when you've got 1 shot or 100? The Flames had 0 success in 8 opportunities 2 nights ago.
Craven brought it in across the line. Bure was desperately trying to straddle the blue line, but it was offside. 27 penalties in tonight's game. Not one of them a major penalty, all minors.
Well, Don, we've got 4 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the third. It wouldn't surprise me to see the game get rounded out with a couple of majors.
That's what happened in game one. This has been a long hockey game. We're almost at 3 hours. Immediately after tonight's game, the Canucks will charter back to Vancouver. The Flames will fly to the West Coast tomorrow afternoon. Game 3 goes on Friday. Game 4 Sunday afternoon. Reichel gets it to Nieuwendyk. He tried to go cross ice for Fleury. It was blocked before it got there. Reichel for Nieuwendyk, back to the point. Zalapski turns, fakes the shot, gets it to Patrick. He lets it go, and that's kicked up over the glass by McLean.
Now, the real key for the Calgary Flames was to get back into this series and tie it up, win game 2. When they haven't won game 2 in the series, they're 0-5. For the Vancouver Canucks, the key for them was to come in here and get some confidence. I am fairly comfortable in saying that if Vancouver would not have had the kind of effort and success that they had in game 1, that this series may have been very, very short. But through a tremendous defensive effort and some real disciplined play combined with excellent execution, Vancouver left game 1 very, very confident. The regular season and the way it finished didn't give them that. Now with a bit of a crack in the door, they're much more comfortable. In this series, in all likelihood, to go a lot longer, and the winner is not simply determined by paper anymore.
Most of the experts, or so-called experts, had picked Calgary to win this series. Some had suggested 5 games, but I think many have rethought those initial predictions. This could be similar to the 1989 battle between these two teams that went into overtime in the 7th game.
Well, Don, I still maintain that it was much more important for Vancouver to have a good game 2 nights ago than it was for Calgary, and I'm also very comfortable in saying that in 99% of the areas where you evaluate hockey teams, Calgary, you can debate the degree, but Calgary is stronger in those areas.
Following the game, the Molson Canadian 3-star selections with 5 points tonight. I think I can safely say MacInnis will be one of those 3.
Well, I'm a big believer in looking at impact on a game, and Gary Roberts was a guy that really set the tone in this hockey game for the Flames. MacInnis has been absolutely outstanding as well. Nieuwendyk has had a very, very strong game, and Gary Roberts, as I mentioned, has had the most impact, even if it hasn't been on the scoreboard. The Vancouver Canucks haven't been slouches either. Linden has been strong, Ronning has been good, Courtnall's been good. Their defense haven't had the same opportunity to be involved that they did in the first game, because Calgary has changed the game plan a little bit, and there has been so many penalties.
36 seconds remaining in the penalty to Courtnall. Shot redirected at the side of the net by Linden. Brown had let it go from the point, and Vernon had to react quickly. Roberts leaves it for Reichel. Reichel for Fleury. Couldn't get the shot away. Reichel looks at the side of the net. Roberts had it bounce over his stick. He gets it again. Reichel, the quarterback on this power play for Roberts. Back to Reichel. Reichel lets the shot go. It's wide. MacInnis checked by Courtnall, who comes out of the penalty box. Reichel tried to dump it in. Broken up by the Canucks, but they're having some problems getting it out of their own zone. Brown and Reichel Reichel bump in the corner. Roberts along the boards. Puck comes free, and a weak shot by Zalapski goes wide. 2:03 remaining. Here's Jelena racing after the puck. Tied up by Patrick. Zalapski moves it up along the boards, but not up. Now a centering pass at the front of the net. Jelena trying to get a stick on it. Nieuwendyk had come charging up into the play, and it bounced away from him. Babic with a shot. That was redirected by Jelena. It went to the corner. And now the Flames dump it down the ice with 1:37 remaining in the period. And it's an icing call against Calgary. And Kirk McLean is looking towards Pat Quinn at the bench for some instruction.
Well, I'll tell you what, Babic and Nieuwendyk really put the pressure on. Quinn has put his glasses on to have a quick look. Nieuwendyk comes in a real hurry. Now Babic is waiting at the point. The puck comes back again. I don't know what it hit. I thought that this game was one goal closer after the shot that is coming right here from Babic. Babic really drifts this. Deflected by a skate. Somehow hits a pad on Vernon. And the game stays 2 goals apart.
Roberts, who really took a lot of abuse in front of the Vancouver net in game 1, takes a shot from Jeff Brown. The antagonist in game 1 for the most part was an old friend of Gary Roberts, Dana Merzen. At least he said, I thought we were friends.
Well, when the game's over, they will.
Working on various aspects of the game.
Oh, and he would love a series like this. He would probably rather be on the side with the Canucks. He'd love to be the underdog, to figure out a strategy to find that edge that we talked about in the opening game of this series. Now, Vancouver has done a super job in finding that edge. And regardless of the outcome of this hockey game, the worst they can do is go home with a 1-1 series. They'll be looking to get the wedge in the armor of the Calgary Flames in game 3 at the PNE.
The extra attacker out there for Vancouver with Kirk McLean on the bench. 1:33 remaining in the game. MacInnis manages to come up with the puck, and he's able to clear. Bure races back after it, being watched by Roberts, trying to use the net to his advantage to get away from the checking of Roberts, but it's forced back in the zone. Brown now for Linden. Linden leaves it for Brown. Titov lost his helmet on a hit behind the play. Ronning goes after the puck. Titov watches him. Ronning, lead pass for Courtnall. Courtnall goes rink wide. Here's Linden. Drops it back. Brown with a shot. He hit the post. Ronning centers it. Puck is deflected to the corner. Loose in front of the net. Bure wheels and shoots. And it was blocked by Roberts. He had lost the stick, but he is able to sprawl in front of the shot. Hectic action as the Canucks attempt to center. A penalty coming up with 27 seconds remaining. And now we've got a skirmish going back to the goal, and Titov is one of the first involved. And now everybody is getting into it.
Cliff Ronning was getting the initial penalty here. He cross-checked down MacInnis. Fraser put his hand up. And then MacInnis gave it back to Ronning in spades. And that's how all of this started.
And then Roberts went after Courtnall. And Joel Otto behind the net. Still jawing away with Cliff Ronning. And you're absolutely right, Jim, in saying that in the final couple of minutes of this hockey game, we could see an eruption and major penalties being assessed.
But Jeff Courtnall doesn't have a strap on his helmet anymore. That was torn off. Well, the first cross-check came from Ronning, and then MacInnis drills Ronning here. Linden comes in and evens the score. Titov, who has lost his helmet no less than 3 times tonight, tried to subdue Linden.
All this comes with 27.2 seconds remaining in the third period. Well, we shouldn't be at all surprised at the number of penalties tonight, I guess, in view of the 400 minutes between the two during the regular season. And I think it's going to continue through games 3 and 4, Friday and Sunday afternoon. It will be very physical. Both coaches, prior to the series getting underway, thought it would be a physical series. Pat Quinn thinks his players respond to a physical game. He said his big guys have to play big all the time. And playing that way will be less of a problem than in the past, simply because it's Calgary.
Well, I think that Quinn is right. I think that Vancouver has more to gain from playing a physical style than the Calgary Flames do. Calgary can definitely play physically. When you've got 3 guys like we just saw on our screen, Didick, Ojic, and Hunter, it certainly lends to their game. Here's what took place. Watch right at the side of the net. There's Ronning right there, and MacInnis. Now Fraser has his arm up on that. MacInnis is somewhat upset, gives the first one and then the second one. And you'll see Linden come in at the top.
And Robertson Courtnall started right after that. Then they were separated. And then Roberts tried to get at Courtnall again. And I wonder what Doug Risebrough and Al Coates might be thinking as they watch from the press box.
Even though this game will probably end in the Flames' favor, you can almost take the pictures we took from the first game and put them in there. Risebrough and Al Coates, the assistant general manager, not showing a whole lot of emotion yet. And that's the best way to make the right decisions. Pat Quinn the same way, calculating, thinking about what has to be done, not being concerned about the evaluation of refereeing or anything else. You can do that when the game is over.
Well, it looks very much as though the Calgary Flames are going to head to Vancouver all even at 1-1. The Toronto Maple Leafs will be traveling to Chicago, leading 2-0 after Todd Gill's overtime winner. Elsewhere tonight, the Detroit Red Wings behind Chris Osgood shut out San Jose 4-0, and that series now moves to San Jose for the next 3 games, tied at a game apiece. And the Dallas Stars will travel to St. Louis to take on the Blues, leading 2-0 after their 4-2 win tonight.
I think Dallas might be a sleeper in the playoffs this year. We'll watch and see. Vancouver happy to be going home. In the 9 games that they've had against the Calgary Flames at the PNE, they're 6-3. Calgary only .333 on the road in Vancouver. So with the first split and the talk of the switch of home ice advantage, the fact that Vancouver has had good success in the past, it'll be lots of fun to watch as this unfolds.
I don't know about Dallas being considered a sleeper in view of what Bob Gainey did with the former Minnesota North Stars just a couple of years ago, taking them to the Stanley Cup final against Pittsburgh.
Well, I think, in my opinion, it's a bit of a sleeper simply because you don't hear a lot about them, even if you're following.
They're a long way away, though, Jim.
Well, that's because they're in Texas, Don.
2 for cross-checking. To the Flames, number 10, Gary Roberts. 4 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. And to number 2, Al MacInnis, 2 minutes for cross-checking. Time of the penalties, 19:32. Courtnall, 2 for roughing and 10. Running, 2 for cross-checking. Linden, 2 for cross-checking. Roberts, 4 for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. MacInnis, 2 for cross-checking, all at 19:32.
Don, I think they're throwing all our stars out of the game.
When it comes time to skate onto the ice for the Molson Canadian 3-star selection, none of the candidates will have skates on.
Guys are going to be in suits.
Meso comes out. Babbage and Lumme back on the blue line. Now Didick moves out. Jelena will have to skate over and take up a position on the far side. Didick is up front with Craven in the face-off circle and Meso on the other side. From the face-off, Trent Yanni banks it off the boards and down the ice. Lumme for Jelena. Jelena flips it to the corner. Zalapski gets there and he clears. 12 seconds remaining. Lumme forced back by Joel Otto. Savage flips it up along the boards as the fans start applauding a Calgary victory by a score of 7-5. And now Memesso and Otto are going at it. And Otto gets his sweater pulled up over his head, but the linesmen were in there quickly. And nothing develops out of that one.
This is a dangerous situation now. If tempers flare and somebody doesn't think about the rule book, you're looking at 10-game suspensions. I would think that will override some of the emotions. I'll give a few hand signals and leave the ice.
Memesso and Otto collided just inside the blue line as the horn sounded to end the hockey game. A very physical hockey game.